Hi, I'm Alec, business coach turned fantasy author. I'm starting from scratch this year. By far the best looking business model is a subscription platform. So in this video, I'm going to be specifically covering Patreon. If you've thought about creating a Patreon account and want to know what it's like to sign up, to author your first post, what it's like to be a Patreon, and what are other business concerns, like how much money do they take, stay tuned and watch this video for a in-depth review of the Patreon experience. So this is the Patreon homepage in a dark theme. I have so many comments for the reader side, but I'm gonna stick to author for this run through right now, and we'll get back to the reader user experience. So become a creator, get started. Welcome, and they know my name. I'm already logged in. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna pick a page name. So you can add your socials here. Right now, I'll just continue. All right, here we are. We can add a page headline. Dark fantasy meets Stargate and Lost in Space. So there's the link. So your patron is ready. Here's how to make it yours. So add a profile photo. You can describe your page, make your first public post, publish your page. So it's nice they have like a to-do and then share it. It's fairly simple steps. All right, so the profile photo, we can change that, but they've got a default one. So they're treating that as checked. That's a little bit weird. But describe your page. Intro video URL. That's fun. Definitely doing that. So definitely if I had some better known works, or as I start creating series of content that might get popular or at least more attention outside that, I'd mention that here. One piece of advice I did hear about the About page is just a lot of people forget to update it, so keep it kind of general and evergreen. So I would also not just say what I'm writing about. This is what they say. This is their advice. A bit about you and what you're writing about. Really, this should be about the Patreon and why they should join. And part of the reason why patrons might join is just to support a cool artist. So maybe I'll put some of that stuff, but I would lead a little bit more into the types of content I'm writing, because that's why people come, and then the experience that I promise to create for those patrons. So definitely, this is not like a dating profile in the sense of like, let me write all the stuff about me as a vanity page or whatever, right? I think this should still be focused on the user and what experience they're gonna get out of the patron. And so, yeah, as I get more content, I think I'm gonna make this a lot more specific. That was long-winded. All right. So description, make a first post. So what do we got here in terms of post types? Text, video, audio, image, link, poll, live stream. Very fun. I like all of those things. Just for right now, I'm going to do a test. Interesting. So I have to save here, and then I have to go click there. That's a little bit of a bad experience, a little bit of jump. First test post. Intro to the Patreon stuff. All right. So here there are tags to make it more searchable. Bloggity blog. All right, let's see, blog. You could create collections. Behind the scenes. You can create pictures of them. So yeah, it's fairly straightforward in terms of producing content. Could upload attachments. That's a little bit weird there, that like attachments upload text stuff. For a second I wasn't sure what to do with that. This is just text. in this text editor, I'm not really seeing any. Oh, there we go. If I highlight stuff, I get some options to very, very basic formatting options, lists. In fact, can I even number my lists? No, I can't switch to a numbered list. I can make it a quote. So yeah, very limited in text. I can attach images. We're just gonna throw in some Instagram stuff. Test. So I can preview post. That's like not very attractive. The link, will they actually show the image? All right, so next. So you can choose whether everyone or all paid members. You can add different memberships. You can schedule, great. Allow comments or disallow comments. And then publish. All right. So you can go live. Legal name, like tax and payout, never shown publicly. Okay. All right. I'm not actually going to go through and publish. All right. You need to publish. Your page is under review. As we do with all new creators, we're reviewing your page to make sure it meets your guidelines. I might have just failed testing that. Okay. So that's a step in the process. All right. So learn more. So Stitched Realms, cover photo. All right. Patreon URL, that's nice. I like customized URL, custom brand color, and you can edit that, which is great. So merch. You have to add a membership first, getting paid. You could do subscription, which is great. Or per creation, like per chapter, for example. Change the currency. I imagine, let's see, all right, so page settings, legal first name, visibility, public, private. So you can see how much you earn per month. I guess I am a big fan of transparency, so I'm going to have to show that. A lot of people don't. Who knows? In terms of earning visibility, I've seen that difference as a user. Like, I do appreciate knowing how much someone makes, although I know there's a lot of people that get frustrated that like, see, if you make enough, then I'm not gonna donate or whatever. And that makes me sad. That makes my heart hurt. I feel like you should want people to be successful. So free membership visibility, show free and paid options. People see the free option alongside your paid. The free option will be less prominent on page, so you can kind of hide that, encourage people to change their memberships, comment access, adult content. So you can see already one consequence of clicking that your work is for people over 18. Again, like I'm gonna shoot for PG-13, but apparently, even if you're just like, this is designed for adults and not designed for children, like YouTube will kind of say, is this video designed for children? I always click no. Well, this is the opposite, where it's like, okay, if you're clicking yes, it means you're doing nudity and you have to be verified, or posting nudity or sexually explicit content, and which is very specific. There's all sorts of reasons why something might not be appropriate for people under 18, but like this is only concerned with one. And if you check it, you have to verify your identity. So that's interesting. Google Analytics, love that. It's great. Actually, integration just to see, have more information about how people visit your site and behave on your site. That's pretty cool. All right. So welcome notes, you can add a welcome note after you add a membership option. A lot of stuff is gated. You have to add memberships. Posts and products. So you can make posts, not only posts, but products, feature tags. I don't know how this sets up the, let's see, video status, not eligible yet. Uploading videos to Patreon is currently only available to creators with early access. Okay. Monetization, not eligible. Get paid by offering a paid membership or selling a digital products in your shop. That's bad writing because you can't sell products until you have a membership. All right. You only pay fees when you start earning. It's kind of a preview. There's offers. Launch your Patreon page with a special offer. Reward your first members with a special offer. Watch the introduction video to see how you can incentivize fans by offering something special for a limited time. That's cool. It's an idea of a launch thing. And that might be something to do periodically. So there's a lot of options here. I'm going to go to audience. All right, so you can track and manage what you give people. You can have exit surveys. That's cool. That's helpful, right? Relationship manager. So you can search. You can download these to a CSV. So there are ways you can own your audience, which is, I think, the important underlying issue as a creator. You don't want a website going under or a block or, I don't know, your account getting hacked. All sorts of things to be the end of your career. And so you want to be able to reach people. Yeah, you can ask people to like re-sign up with a different account that they may also be following, like if they're following you on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, Instagram, but they might not all be available. So having some kind of regular step where you're downloading the CSV and backing up your contacts, hugely important. So insights, so there's like memberships and growth, how much earnings you have, how responses to posts, managing payouts. Community is something I'm interested in. So chats on web is coming soon. I think Substack has this feature. We'll see in the Substack section. All right, Substack has this feature, but I know a lot of people basically use Discord for this. And that's something where if you want to have a chat community, then you probably are using third-party apps at this point. So, all right. Chat, direct messages. So there's some community management there. I'm not sure there's as much as I would like. And again, I'd probably use something like Discord for more community engagement and discussion, and the Patreon just largely for like posts and comments just specifically about those posts. Thoughts on the authoring UI for Patreon? It's very simple. It's streamlined. I like their simple instructions. It's there's not a lot of customization. That is a limited in like your site generally. I didn't easily see ways to change your page. It looks like it's kind of automatic and you can create collections. Maybe there's some way to like pin collections. That was something I was looking for and did not immediately see. But generally speaking, very controlled. So it's simple, there's less to worry about. You're less likely to accidentally create a horrible page, unusable page, but then you're also going to be limited in how much it actually reflects your personality, right? Like you get a banner and a brand color and that's it. And the same thing is kind of true for the written posts. It's not how I would like to write posts for readers, and we'll get into the reader experience in a second, but that's like a very limited text editing platform for posts. There's a couple other media things in terms of voice, video, etc. So let's check out the Patreon reader user experience. So this is the home page. I think a lot of people will actually probably find you from your creator page, but there was just this cool feature of like find creators you follow on YouTube or Twitch. I think that's pretty cool. That's more discoverability. Otherwise, you can search things. If I search something like fantasy writing, right? Here's what I get. I can search for people who have this. I'm going to search for people who look about in the range of members that I'm looking to get. Catherine, there we go. M. Valenti, or Valent? I'm going to say Valenti. All right. Anyway, interesting. I think she had more. Oh, maybe the members in the total one includes non-free members, right? So you can be free. You can just look at the page. So like, I guess these are things like, this is what you would see if you're free. I do like the fact that the payment options are front and center here. So it says like become a member, clicks down to here. You can choose annually. You have different tiers that you can choose from, and you can set those. $1 a month is very common. Like 1 to 10 is very common. Some people skew different ways. Like actually NK Jemisin, I think her top tier, like it was like $2 and $5 or something like that. So, and I loved the fact that NK Jemisin was transparent. You can actually see how much she earns. So like most people at her level of doing well don't do that. This one, it's not shown how much. It says this is the most popular, so if we were to assume it was the average, it probably skews a little less than the average, right? But probably over 3,000 a month, I'm thinking. 3,000 to 4,000 a month easily, fairly easily. Yeah. So just guesstimating. All right. And so the tiers are really easy. You can, I mean, they have pictures, whatever. So I like the silly pictures. It's clear what price. Very easy to join. And then you can just scroll. Oh, there's 11 tiers. So there's a lot more tiers. Oh, maybe if that one's more popular, but there's a few people at these very high tiers. I like how it was simple. And then you can get into more expensive tiers if you want. And maybe I should revise my estimate of what she's making. And I'll have to study this a little bit more. Basic offering. So you get a character postcard or a thank you. Like the one, there's different feelings about the $1 tier. A lot of people think it should exist. Some people don't. In fact, as we'll get into Substack, you can't even choose to create a $1 tier. The minimum is $5 per month. And so some people like having the $1 tier, and some people some people basically give you all of the content at $1, and then you can just choose to pay more if you want to tip them. Some people really do separate this out, and I think this is a example where you get different value propositions. I think MK Jemisin's tier 1 is you get pictures of her cat, and then if her patron stays above 3,000, you'll get some of the other additional free content or something. But anyway, for Valente, this is, you get like a access to the Patreon only activity feed. I don't know what that means, like versus posts. Patreon Discord server, that's usually a big thing. Like if you join at any paid level, you get access to the Discord server. The monthly character postcard and my eternal gratitude. So it's like the character postcard, monthly character postcard, and Discord server for $1. So this one allows a little bit more. You get all the previous stuff, plus exclusive access to a monthly experiment, a recipe with a high quality photo, a review. So this is kind of blogish stuff. I don't intend to do a lot of this stuff. Comedic essay, whatever I'm reading, watching, or playing, maybe a little bit more relevant, or addressing aspects of writing and or publishing, etc. So this is like really vague. It's interesting. I feel like as a business person, the general goal is like go specific. And so I would like tailor, you get a monthly experience about something in your fantasy world or something like that. Maybe not a full short story, but like anyway. But like target it and give better examples rather than just like I'll share, like it might be related to whatever I'm actually writing, or it might be just like whatever I want to put in a blog, however I want to document my life, whatever aspect of that. If you're not famous, maybe she has a lot of people who are into her and her lifestyle brand, but like if you're not famous, which I'm not, I wouldn't go for the like extended dance sequence. So anyway, all of the above plus unreleased chapters, short stories, poems. Like this seems more relevant. So it's interesting. She's putting a pretty high bar at relevant content. All right, there's the social links. Here's the about page. About video, great. Like how she says, what do I get? I would tend to put that first unless like the who am I was particularly compelling, like I was really well known. Why Patreon? I feel like a lot of authors feel like they have to justify themselves, but like if people want to pay authors to create work, why don't you just try and do good work and persuade people that you should be one of the authors that they pay? So, anyway, becoming a member. And I am not going to share with you my details. Interestingly, Valente chose the subscription option where you have to pay on the first of the month, so you get charged immediately, and then again, in my case, in a couple of weeks rather than a full month. I could see why this would be great as a creator, because then everyone pays you on the first and you have a consistent payday, which I understand. It's kind of a less quality experience, feeling like you're paying for only half a month, but presumably you get access to the full month's content plus past content, so that's not a big deal. Just one thing to think about in Patreon and Patreon options. So, all right, here you have a welcome post. You have a broken image, which is interesting. I wonder if she experienced some of the same difficulties I did adding images to posts. So there's one in the bottom, but that's good. So there's popular posts. There's my membership, which you can edit. You can. They offer you to upgrade. They don't offer you to downgrade. I think there's some options that weren't available from the front page. Like, I thought it ended at the 25. Maybe I didn't pay attention. There's 1,000 advanced paper copies of anything I publish. Anyway, it's interesting. So popular posts. So that's the collections. So she really hasn't used collections, and there's a whole lot of tags. Like, why would you create a Stegosaurus Rex tag for one post? And then I click and I didn't see anything anyway. So yeah, not super easy to find stuff home. Let's see, media type. You could filter by the media type. You could filter by month. You can filter by tier. So like I guess the $10 tier, right? And that's kind of a little bit more what I was looking for, like excerpts. Here's a beautiful, beautiful picture. So anyway, it might be a little bit easier if her excerpts were organized into a collection. I could see why some readers complain that this is not a great long-term format for reading books. You know, and this is a fairly basic reading source, right? And there is an app that you could use to read stuff. Maybe it's better for reading stuff. I don't know. Let's see. There's a link to share. You can message the creator. So for pricing and business concerns, here's what they say: 8%, 12%. This is the Pro model. I believe there's a default one at 5% if you don't have the membership tiers, but most people have multiple membership tiers, and so they do at least 8%. And just looking at the UI, some of the things they say in terms of special offers, engagement tools, like chat they said was coming, DMs exists or whatever, member analytics and insights. So those were enabled by default. So I think this is their default, although there might be a light 5%, or there used to be a light 5% one with you where you could have like a single tier and fewer features and whatnot. But really, yeah, if you're joining up with this, you want 8% cut, or you probably want to take the 8% pro cut and count on that. Now you can go premium and they'll take a 12% cut of everything you earn on Patreon, but you get a dedicated partner manager team account, so you can have other people manage your Patreon, etc., and merch for membership. So that's probably good if you don't want to have to worry about building out a site or like having to call someone to fix your site or upgrade your site intermittently. But I've heard a lot of people who if they do get successful, would actually probably, for all the extra 4%, or actually the whole 8%, 12% or whatever that they're taking, when you start making money, it actually makes it worth it to like pay someone to set you up your own membership site, where you'd probably be doing, still getting a small charge for like taking credit cards via some other service, but it wouldn't be this huge 12%. Anyway, but so I'm kind of curious about the use case of the 12%, how popular it is, and if it's really worth the 12%. I guess dedicated partner manager again, like, right? So this is for people who want to do less, even if they're making a lot less more money. Who want the freedom, versus if you do your own website, it could get hacked, could get denial of service attacks or whatever. It could go down, it could need upgrading or fixing, or you're just more on the hook for stuff, right? And you would end up having to pay someone anyway occasionally to maintain it. So like, maybe just not to have to worry about that, it's worth it to put up with this 12%, at least for a while. All right, the other things, do you own your followers? Not really, but you can export a CSV, as we noted before. So I would heavily encourage like a weekly ritual of like backing up info to your followers, so that if Patreon went down, if your account was hacked, etc., or if you were removed from the platform, then you'd still have access to your followers, and you can kind of message them like, hey, my account is down or has been hacked or whatever, like unsubscribe or move my subscriptions to a new platform, or don't freak out, I will fix this and give you a refund, all that kind of stuff. So no, you don't really own your followers on this account to quite the same extent. And then the other thing, I'm going to dip my toes into it because I know writers often have strong political sentiments. But there's the banning, which is a con or a plus, depending on how you look at it. So Patreon has banned people for speech that they did not like, that was not even on the Patreon platform, and it's not even clear from their terms of service at the time that they could do that. Now, this was right-wing people, and so maybe if you're not conservative, and most writers aren't conservative, that doesn't bother you, but with things like Elon Musk taking over Twitter, that could change. And if it's a company where, censorship is built into their DNA, that makes me feel a little less trusting of it, like a little bit more worried. And I will compare this to Substack, which I'm going to review next. And the interesting thing about Substack is they're really pro-free speech. And again, someone else could take over the company and that could change. You never know what could happen. But that idea that maybe that's built more into their DNA, if someone did take over the company and a lot of people employees bought into the free speech, then they, might face a lot of people quitting if they drastically take, policy. It could become a big thing. There might be some resistance to it. The pro is that if you're pro free speech, that's great. The con is, and I have seen people write this on their Substacks, is that like there are, because they're pro-free speech, there's probably a lot of views you don't like represented on Substack that don't get kicked off. That's kind of a part and parcel of the free speech thing. So if you want an area that has more controlled speech, and or your audience, right? If your audience heavily prefers spaces in which the speech is, controlled within a political viewpoint, or within what is deemed by your corporate overlords as acceptable speech, or like kind, nice, inclusive speech, or whatever, great. I'm kind of independent, so I don't have a hugely strong view on this, other than I would liberally use the CSV export function so that I can keep my list of patrons up to date with whatever happens on the platform if I used Patreon. Now, if you are interested in this Patreon experience, but you want to compare it with Substack, if you want to see how Substack stacks up against Patreon, check out my next video in which I go through the same process, creating a new Substack, authoring a post, looking through the UI and the tools, and then also reviewing my experience as a Substack follower, and finally reviewing some of the business details around Substack. So if you want to compare Patreon to Substack, watch this next video.